In recent years, the political landscape in America has seen an unprecedented level of division and conflict. Today, we will explore how Donald Trump and his supporters have been targeted by political adversaries through a series of notable incidents, decisions, and comments. We will take a chronological journey through these events based on available public information, including the orders from Trump and the controversial stances taken by Democratic leaders. Our timeline begins with the election results of November 2016. Donald Trump's campaign defied expectations, pushing him into the spotlight and drawing the ire of many political opponents. As Trump gained momentum, so did the criticism from Democratic figures and media outlets who increasingly portrayed him as a threat to American democracy. Almost immediately, allegations of Russian collusion emerged, spearheaded by political adversaries determined to undermine his presidency. The claims prompted extensive investigations, primarily led by special counsel Robert Mueller, which consumed significant attention and resources. These investigations created an environment of skepticism towards Trump's legitimacy as president, despite the lack of concrete evidence proving collusion. In the face of mounting criticisms and distractions, Trump cashed Patel to the position of Deputy Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs. Patel received direct instructions from the President to declassify information regarding the Russia investigation. Patel's orders were seen as an aggressive move to counter the political attacks against Trump, allowing the administration to release documents that could potentially vindicate the president and discredit his critics. As Trump's presidency progressed, tensions escalated. The first impeachment inquiry, initiated in late 2019, dealt with accusations of abuse of power related to his dealings with Ukraine. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi played a prominent role in orchestrating the impeachment process. Despite extensive media coverage and division within Congress, Trump was acquitted by the Senate in early 2020. Still, political enemies continued to target both him and his supporters, portraying them as a threat to democratic norms. Following a contentious 2020 election, which saw widespread accusations of fraud from Trump and his allies, tensions reached a breaking point. After the election, many Trump supporters gathered to protest at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. During his January 6 speech to supporters at the rally, Trump stated, "I want you to show support for our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are on our side, and we must respect them." This indicated a call for supporters to maintain peace and not engage in violence. Trump encouraged his followers to march to the Capitol and express their views peacefully. The protests turned chaotic, leading to an attack on the Capitol building itself, resulting in tragic loss and significant damage. In the aftermath, Trump faced immediate backlash, leading to a second impeachment, that time for incitement of insurrection. During this crisis, Speaker Nancy Pelosi publicly denied requests for additional security measures at the Capitol ahead of the riot, citing prior assessments that deemed such actions unnecessary. This decision has since been scrutinized heavily. Some view her denial of service to Trump's supporters during this critical time as a failure in leadership. After the breach of the Capitol occurred, Trump released a video that included a message urging his supporters to take things down a notch. "I know you're disappointed, but I want you to go home in peace." Post-January 6th, Trump's social media platforms took decisive actions. His accounts were suspended for allegedly violating policies, becoming emblematic of the broader efforts to silence voices of dissent on major platforms. This sparked debates about free speech and the ethics of censorship. Recent findings have shed light on allegations that social media platforms systematically suppressed Donald Trump-related and conservative accounts, particularly during the 2020 presidential election cycle and subsequent events. Multiple studies and reports from independent researchers and media outlets have explored patterns of content moderation, censorship, and algorithmic bias, revealing troubling implications for free speech and political discourse in the digital age. Many supporters viewed these actions as further proof of systemic bias against them and their beliefs, an attempt to delegitimize their stance in the political arena. As we fast forward to 2023, the political climate remains charged. Investigations regarding Trump are ongoing. Supporters continue to feel targeted by various political maneuvers that they believe are aimed at erasing their voice in the political discourse. In the aftermath of the January 6, 2021, Capitol riots, investigations, and reports have clarified the circumstances surrounding the injuries and fatalities that occurred during the event. Despite widespread notions associating the violence with Trump supporters, key findings indicate that many of the individuals who were injured or killed were not affiliated with the rioters. Fatalities among Capitol Police. One of the prominent cases was the death of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who suffered a stroke following the events of the day. While initial reports suggested he was injured during the riot, subsequent investigations indicated that his death was not directly caused by the actions of the rioters, leading to conflict over narrative framing. Tragic incidents involving protesters. Among those who lost their lives during the chaotic scene were Ashley Babbitt, a Trump supporter who was shot by law enforcement while attempting to breach a secured area inside the Capitol. Reports specify that her tragic death was a result of her actions during the riot, rather than organized aggression from fellow supporters. Other injuries and deaths. Several injuries resulted from the tumultuous environment as rioters clashed with law enforcement. Contrarily, available data highlighted that many injuries among law enforcement personnel were due to confrontations with the crowd, rather than any deliberate attack linked to ideological motivations of Trump supporters seeking to harm officers. Media misrepresentation. Various outlets faced criticism for their portrayal of the events, creating confusion regarding whether the violence was predominantly perpetrated by Trump supporters or if it was largely resultant from the chaotic situation itself. Reports clarify that the majority of the injured involved law enforcement directly responding to the riot, emphasizing that a solid distinction needs to be made between political affiliation and violent actions during the incident. Throughout these events, it's clear that both Donald Trump and his supporters have faced immense scrutiny and targeting from political adversaries. Whether through impeachment, social media bans, or political narratives, the fight for their political identity remains highly contentious. As we analyze these developments, it's essential to ask ourselves what this means for the future of American politics and the concept of free speech. Overall, while January 6th represents a significant moment of violence linked to an insurrectionist effort, the specifics regarding fatalities and injuries illustrate that not all casualties were a direct result of actions taken by Trump supporters. Understanding this complexity helps clarify the elements of the event and fosters more accurate conversations about accountability and the many layers present in such a turbulent chapter of American history. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of the turbulent journey surrounding Donald Trump and his supporters. For more in-depth discussions and analyses, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications on our latest videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you perceive the targeting of political opponents in our current climate? Until next time, stay informed.